What are you looking at? Come on. Come on, Jackie.
Kai Nguyen. Good morning. Matt Batista, what up? Mass Peanut, what up? Did you guys get notifications? I hope so. I always wonder what's going on with these notifications. Al, what's up? What's going on? I'm late AF. Late AF. Good news is, all the stuff I have to do is a little later than I expected. I had something that I had to do earlier that I guess I don't have to do now. But that's no excuse for being late. Al, what's going on? So we're gonna make the most of it. Dogs are here watching me. I'm shouting as always, it's Wednesday. I took a full scoop of anesthetized last night. Good Lord. I took a full scoop of anesthetized. I slept deep. I slept deep. Billy Guns, good morning, sir. Good morning. Man, I usually, when I do it, I only usually do a half a scoop, maybe 2/3 of a scoop. And I try not to take it more than once or twice a week, because I've learned my lesson with that stuff years ago on not taking it every day. Ugh, do not do that. Unless you're committed to taking it for life, which we used to have a couple customers that would buy it by the case. Oh yeah, Mass Peanut, absolutely, my friend. Get those Black Friday deals. Good, good, good. No man bun for me. Actually, I usually have my beanie on when I'm on here in the morning, but I didn't go to the gym today. Off from the gym today, so I took some water in my hands, slicked the old hair back, and then I took a little bit of gel and I kind of, it's supposed to be slicked back, but it needs to be cut. So I got a little like finger wavy thing going in the middle. No man bun. I did have a man bun in prison. The guards made fun of me like crazy until I cut it. I let my hair grow really long in prison. I just decided I was gonna not cut my hair for a year when I was in there. Let's see, Al says, bro, it happened, tore/pulled my groin, still waiting on MRI. No, what were you doing, man? What were you doing? Hopefully it is a sports hernia and not a torn groin, or maybe just a pulled groin. Remember you guys, I was talking about the issue that I had with my groin for a while, ended up being a sports hernia. Thoughts on Nugenix Total T? I'd have to see the ingredients. I'm not really familiar with the products. Nugenix been around for a while. I believe that Nugenix is a GNC brand. And if you can buy it at GNC, it's probably not that good, guys. And, you know, that's not meant as a diss to GNC or brands that sell in GNC. I get it. A lot of people want to go that big route of getting out there in front of everybody, but the same kind of deals that you have to do to get into the GNCs are the same as for a Costco. You know, you see certain brands that are sold in Costco, and what you have to do, guys, this is why this was always a problem in negotiations with GNC for years. When Blackstone was super popular, let me just preface this by saying, even though I'm an owner of Blackstone Labs, I'm not allowed to work at my own company. I'm not allowed to be a part of it until I finish probation. I'm not involved in anything over there. I'm just speaking from my personal experience from the past. When Blackstone was really popular, when we were essentially the hottest brand there was in 2016. So 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, we negotiated with GNC. So 2013, we were a small brand, they were not interested. 2014, they presented what they wanted us to do, and it was not a good deal. By 2016, right, when we were killing it, they were like, look, what do we got to do? People are coming in asking for angel dust all the time, yada, yada, yada. The CEO at the time was a little more aggressive than some of the other CEOs that they've had. So we put out a deal that would work for us where we didn't have to change our products and could still make money. And we actually had it. The opening purchase order was going to hit about 500 stores, the more sports-focused stores. And their opening purchase order was about an $800,000 order. And we had finally come to an agreement. And the guy that was brokering the deal for us, he was a sales rep for me that had worked for GAT. He had worked for Gaspari. He had worked for a number of companies. He said, I've never seen them agree on a deal like this. You guys got a great deal going on here. And that CEO was actually fired, and then the deal fell out. And after that, I've never been in negotiations with them ever again. After the federal incident, I'm sure they're not all that interested. But here's the thing, guys. In order to make money with them, the margins have to be so small. And so Blackstone Labs products cost more money to make because we put a shitload of ingredients and high doses in our stuff. So what a lot of brands do is they make products specifically that can work that way in GNC, and it requires cheap ingredients or lower doses of the ingredients. So for instance, our Apex Male, right? Our Apex Male has a lot of shit in it. You go look at that label. That's why it's so many pills to take it. So it costs us, in comparison to competitors' test boosting products, it literally costs us like 4 or 5 times more to make. So what are you gonna do? You can't price it 4 or 5 times more. Nobody's gonna buy it, and so that's why those things don't work out. Now, you got the product for free. Read up on it. I don't know how much you're gonna get in only 2 weeks. But you can try it out, see how it goes. When it comes to purchasing things at GNC and places like that, number one, I always encourage you to go to any local, like mom and pop retail store. The brick and mortar accounts like that, number one, they're gonna tell you the truth about the products because they're not getting any kind of commissions to sell them. Number two, there are people that typically really love this stuff, not just some retail outlet. And you'll support those stores, good people, and you'll be able to find better products in there. But when you go to these places, listen, single ingredient products, you're probably gonna get the best deals at your GNC vitamin shops when they have stuff on sale. Like if you're going in to buy a creatine, if you're going in to buy vitamin C, you're going to be able to find really good prices in there for sure. Just like Amazon, really. But if you're looking for more of the specific type stuff, you want to go to the source. It's kind of like, Marissa and I, we went to this store, this baby store, right? Cribs, strollers, this, that. And I'm looking at everything and I'm like, man, this stuff is expensive. And a buddy of mine told me, listen, everything they have in there, look at the manufacturer, go direct to the manufacturer, you'll get it a few $100s cheaper. He's like, that's what I did. It's the same thing, guys. Bird chest. What is my typical diet looking like at the moment? Asks Mash Peanut. So it's different depending on the day. So now that I'm married and I have this cute little, bond with Marissa family thing going that we're starting now, we've developed into like a family style routine for dinner. So like if you were a kid, like when I was a kid, we had like certain nights. So to give you an example, Tuesday night, right, for us is Taco Tuesday. So what we usually do is one of two things. We usually brown up some good quality ground beef, and sometimes we'll have like a taco bowl with rice, beef, lettuce, tomato, cheese, or sometimes we'll make it into like a burrito, same ingredients. Sometimes we'll make little tacos, but we use the Mission keto wraps. So Mission has these almost all fiber keto wraps. They're great because the effect on the insulin level is negligible. You poop it all out like a champ. It'll keep you full. And they're relatively low calories, right? So Tuesday night is taco night. Usually Thursdays is a fish night. I'll either make cod or what did I make last week? Some mahi-mahi. We usually have, also usually have fish on Fridays as well. But all the in-between stuff, guys, is your basic boring bodybuilder stuff. I don't eat as many meals as I used to. I fast typically until 2 or 3 in the afternoon still. And I'll usually have 2 shakes a day. If I'm not having 2 shakes a day, one of them I've showed my recipe where I make my sugar-free Jell-O pudding with the whey, which is delicious. And so, although some people might count that as a snack, it's 50 grams of protein. I count it as a meal. So, my last meal is always my poop shake, which I've been doing for years and years and years. Before I go to bed, that's 2 scoops of whey isolate. I mix it with almond milk, my Metamucil. Once a week I use Fiberlize instead of Metamucil. Sometimes, once or twice a week I use some anesthetized in there. I always use some juiced up in there. Sometimes I put glutamine in there. But I've always done that before bed poop shake. I don't ever eat like an actual meal before bed. And there's no carbs in that meal, it's just fiber. So it's pretty basic, guys. I cheat on the weekends mostly. I was having just a cheat meal on the weekends, but I've honestly been cheating a lot. And I'm not blaming it on her with the pregnancy, but she's been very into like baking and random shit like that. Now, if I were to, let's say I decide to do like a transformation, guys, because I've been working with a buddy. I have a friend who is an absolute genius. His name is John, and he's been working on this app for photos that I honestly think is a $1 million idea. And he's asked for me to be involved in it, which I'm honored to. But basically, this thing, you can take your photos, and it sort of like 3D maps you, and you can take your, let's say you're doing progress pictures, right? You want to do like a 30-day challenge. Well, you can take a photo in the same area, and it'll, because of the 3D mapping, it'll put your body in the exact same spot, no matter what. That way, after 30 days, you could run through it like a video and see the transformation in the exact spot. You can remove everything in the background. You can put a black screen in the background. You could put logos if you're a sponsored athlete in the background. It's really cool. So if I decide that I want to be, hey man, maybe we'll have me be, a face for this, and I decide to do like a, 30-day transformation. Guys, I've been doing it the same for years. I either go into a strict ketogenic diet, or I cycle my carbs where I just go really low for a few days, and it's mostly fish. Fish. But for my everyday life now, guys, it's just been a variety. With the different nights that we have. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Q&A time. Al injured himself. Let's see what we got going on here. Hack squat. Stop doing barbell squats because of the pain I was feeling. I feel a wild bruise starts at the hip and spreads around my quad hamstring. Oh man, that does not sound good. Yeah. If there's a bruise like that, that does not sound good. Are you able to step your leg out to the side or back? Jake, good morning. Why am I walking when I could moonwalk? Because if I was moonwalking, I'd have to hold the camera the other way. It'd be hard to talk to you guys. Mark says, good morning, PJ. You mentioned that oxandrolone is interesting to add into my TRT 100 milligrams. What dosage should I add to my TRT? My main goal is healthy aging. Conservatively, 25 milligrams a day. Just take it once a day. The issue with oxandrolone, with long periods of time, is that it can affect your lipid profile a little bit. It can take your HDL down. But that's it. It's not liver toxic unless you're using friggin' 100 milligrams a day. I don't know if it's available at Core, but you could certainly ask and see what they say, you know. 25 milligrams is a very conservative dose, so. Oh, Gilmore, I'm happy to give you guys info as much as you want. Ask and you shall receive. Let's see, back in the day there was a sub called Adipokinetics by Syntrax. It had Norepinephrine, RS1, that tiny ass pill was off the charts. How was your favorite back in the day? I'm trying to think. I don't know if I ever took that one, although it does sound kind of familiar. You know, if we go way back in the 90s, there was some really awesome stuff, man. You know, you had everybody knew the mainstream stuff was like your hydroxycut hardcore, hydroxycut. I personally like Xenadrin. The original Xenadrin was off the charts. Those pills were off the charts. You got your Stacker 2s and whatnot, but the Xenadrins were off the chart. Those were my favorite. I also enjoyed the Speed Stacks in the gym, which had 25 milligrams of ephedrine. My gym carried those. I think American Bodybuilding made those drinks, but the original Ultimate Orange I was a fan of also. But of all the stuff back then, my favorite, man, those Xenadrin pills were, whew, those were fire for me. Now, maybe 5, 6, 7 years later, you know, when all that stuff was banned, there was these 1,3-dimethylamine pills. And they sold them at gas stations, guys. They were in these little black, it was like a black card with 2 pills, right? In the plastic, you just pop the pill out. Man, those things were crazy. Top of the morning, Don Bolshoi. MTV Cribs or Pimp My Ride? I think MTV Cribs was more iconic of a show. Pimp My Ride, they certainly did some cool stuff, but MTV Cribs was more iconic. I mean, you still got people that kind of like act like that in their videos when they show their houses and whatnot. Last movie that made me cry. Shit. Good question. What's the last movie that made me cry? Man, that's a good question. It's probably been fairly recent, and I'm not realizing it. I think I've cried a little bit more than I used to now that I'm home from prison. I think my emotions, things hit me a little bit differently than they used to. But I'll tell you that Marissa had never seen Good Will Hunting, and I couldn't believe that she never saw it. And man, you know the scene with Robin Williams, man. That scene is a very emotional scene that made me cry. That's like that scene, no matter how many times I see it, it makes me cry. That's a fucking tough, excuse my language, scene to get through. I can remember that one off the top of my head because she was like, oh my God. And I was like, man, this scene gets me every time, you know? I'd have to think more. Maybe she knows the last time. We'll have to bring that one back tomorrow. You think expression, it happened for a reason, just an excuse for people's dumbass decisions? Yes, I do, actually. Kind of went, hey PJ, congratulations on the baby. Can you please share my baby making protocol? Absolutely. Guys, it's in here. The protocol is on my YouTube. I've already made a YouTube video about it, and Marissa's actually in the video with me. I was very proud to share that with you guys. My baby making protocol. It's right here on my PG Braun Fitness page, Kai. Save it, show it to your friends. You want to have a baby, here's how you do it. And no, I did not have to be off of testosterone. I will tell you, I feel very confident that being off of testosterone for nearly 2 years in prison was definitely a benefit for me. Because literally, you know, I had 2 years to build up whatever was going on in there. But after 2 years off, if I didn't get back on testosterone, I don't think I'd even be able to have sex, to be honest with you. Man, I'm really sorry to hear that, Al. Listen, I'll pray for you. I hope it's not so bad. You know, when I hurt myself, I didn't have any bruising like that. I had horrible pain. You know, I had to lift my leg in and out of the car. It was very, very painful. But no bruising, which I felt was a good sign. And of course, my tearing was not the groin. It was really the pubic bone area, the abdominal muscles there as a sports hernia. So I suppose I lucked out. It still lingers around, though, that pain for me. But at least I didn't have to have surgery. Anton Chigger from No Country for Old Men, or Patrick Big. Oh man, I love American Psycho. You guys know that I love American Psycho. I've seen that movie 1,000 times, if not 1,000, at least 100. Russia in the house. What's going on in Russia? What part of Russia? Share it with me, Luke. Good morning. Ultimate Orange, that fire. So listen, Bare Naked Ladies was the worst concert I've ever been to. Bolshoi Kush. I was in high school. Check this out, guys. So I'm going Chumbawamba for sure. I get knocked down, then I get up again. So I was dating this young lady in high school. Her name was Amy Pody. She went to Catholic school. She was adorable. She kind of looked like Cameron Diaz back when Cameron Diaz was super hot. Such a cutie. And she loved the Bare Naked Ladies. Now I'm over there listening to Metallica and Pantera and Tool. You know what I mean? I'm Metallica'd out at that point in high school. We're talking like sophomore year. And she loved Bare Naked Ladies, so I was able to get her tickets to take her to Bare Naked Ladies. It was the worst concert that I've ever been to in my life. The worst concert I've ever been to. I actually sat down for most of the concert. I knew at that moment it wasn't going to work out with her and I. Have you seen the movie See Arnold Running with bodybuilder Roland Kicklander? Bob Girl played. No. Is it worth seeing? I don't know anything about it. Give me more info on that, Bolshoi. I'd have to check it out. Oh, Luke, I'm glad that you enjoyed the back workout. Guys, if you haven't seen the back workout that I posted on Monday, listen, it's a great video. If you're training back and you're training back hard, you want to train your back the right way, watch that video. So many tools in it. I'm glad that you watched it, Luke. Who was a better boss, Tony Soprano or Johnny Sacks? Ah, man. I want to go Tony Soprano because I love Sopranos so much. I don't know if that's the right choice, but I think I want to go Tony Soprano. Next black R&B or rap star that will be accused of sexual harassment. So, it's not a good time to be rich and famous these days. It's not a good time to be rich and famous. Everybody is a sex trafficker. If you're rich and famous and you're into some kinky shit, you're gonna get into it with some sex trafficking. You're better off just getting married and laying low. I don't believe that the Jay-Z stuff is true, personally. I don't see it. Especially 25 years ago. Who do I think will be next? Man, that's tough. Who's around still from that era? It's gonna be one of the OG guys, you know, from that era. Who was hanging out in that circle really close with Diddy and those guys? It's not gonna be Nas. There's no way it'll be Nas. The 80s movie 10 to Midnight is the movie that inspired American Psycho. I don't think I've ever seen that. Maybe I'll have to check it out. Was Gene Genova really a personal trainer in the old world gym? Man, I don't know. I've never heard. For some reason I've never heard that. I find that hard to believe. I know you're a car guy, so I wanted to ask. Why was DDE trying to take your spot as the first ever twin turbo Ferrari? How did that drama end up playing out in the end? So as you know, I went to prison while a lot of this was going on. So I actually asked Rob, my boss, the guy that did the design, you know, whatever happened with that. And he said theirs continually failed. They brought in a new guy over there to work on it. A guy that he said's really good. But they just had a lot of design errors and making it fit. And he said that we did something with ours that they still haven't thought to do. That made ours possible. And I don't want to say it because ours is still the only one that's ever been made possible. So they still have never completed theirs, where ours has been driven on the road. Sure, it kind of blew up a couple times, or went into limp mode. Didn't totally blow up. I shouldn't say that. Blew a gasket. But there was something that they did with ours that controls the way that it's cooled and everything else that he could see that they haven't thought to do. So I don't want to give away the design on it. I'm also not as advanced enough by any means to understand the way that it all works out. He could explain it. The way that Rob explains the car stuff, he's much like the way that I explain the exercise stuff. He can layman simplify it. So if I put him out a video and broke it down, all the car people were like, very good. But, while I was gone, the project was actually swapping the motor to customize a motor that could handle more than 5 pounds of boost from the turbos. Hey, listen, you guys might see that car again. Now, why was it an issue? I don't know why they made it like that. So when we got ours running, right, which was one of the most exciting things I've ever been a part of, right? When I drove that car the first time, you guys remember, I was going crazy. Holy crap, I felt like I was driving in a rocket ship. And we posted, first ever, world's first twin turbo F12 Ferrari. And there were a couple people on there like, you're not the first. DDE is the first. So I went over there to see that they were talking about it, but they actually never had anything that was even started and running yet. So by the time I was driving They were just finally getting it even started up, and they made the mistake of top mounting the turbos. And you see the smoke coming out while you're driving in their faces and stuff. Ours are on the bottom. So making it fit, very, very difficult. That's why they did it on the top. But there's some things that they did to make it fit that is genius. And I told those guys, listen, why don't we collaborate? You know, I'm in a different space than you. I'm in fitness, but I have a big following. We should merge together and do something really cool. And they wouldn't even write me back. They left me on red multiple times. Gave them a few more shots. They weren't interested in talking. They weren't interested in talking to me at all. And I sent them the link. I'm like, you can check mine out. Like, we should collaborate. And they handled it very, like, I would say arrogant, stuck up, immature, called Rob a nobody or something like that. Said that they didn't even believe that ours was real, even though there's plenty of videos of it. So ours has been displayed at car shows. So, hey, when I say ours, it's mine, but for the amount of stuff that they put into it, they treated it as theirs. And so I say ours. We had a great team with this thing. See Arnold Running is a bio movie about Arnold. Was released in 2005 about his bodybuilding period and political period. Shitty movie, but actors played not bad. Okay. You think it's going to be LeBron? Nah, I don't think it's going to be LeBron. With the sex stuff, I don't think so. I don't think it'll be Nas, Dre, Andre 3000. I don't think it'll be Redman. I mean, I think Usher, maybe. Maybe is a safer bet. But I don't know, man. Player to maybe come back, or Toto Africa for sure. I love Africa. I caught some rains down in Africa. Who doesn't love that song? Have I ever thought about releasing a rap album being in prison? No, mostly because I can't stand white rappers. Sorry if that's racist. Outside of Eminem, I can't stand white rappers. I don't like it. Call me racist. It is what it is. I don't like white rappers. I prefer my rappers black. Or Spanish. Also, I can't rhyme, so that kind of hurts there. Faculty 1998 or Resident Evil. Faculty was pretty good, Bolshoi Kush. I don't love the Resident Evil movies. There's a lot of them, and I think they're kind of cheesy. Although, what's her name, was cute. Mila Jovovich in those videos. If you could pick one nationality to spend 2 years in one cell in prison, who would it be? Mexican, black, Chinese, or Russian? I had the best overall experience in prison with Mexican cellies. Although I did have an awesome black cellie also. He was consistently getting himself in trouble, but he was a cool ass guy. I had a Cuban cellie. Awesome, but yeah, I would say I've had great success. The Mexicans, man, they cook. They cook. And they band together very well. So if I'm picking one nationality to be locked up with, I'm going Mexican. I'm going Mexican. Listen, I don't know what it's like in China, but very few Asian people in prison. The couple of Asian peoples that I did speak to in prison were Vietnamese. There was one, I believe, Chinese guy. Did Jason ever learn to drive stick? No. Couldn't do it. Yes, Jay Cream is, of course, Jay Cream is the one white rapper that I could really get into. Absolutely. What else we got going on here today? Have I missed anything? Coming off cycle, an AT&T commercial can get people crying. That is true. That is true, my friend. All right, I think I've gotten it all. But yeah, the baby making protocol is on the YouTube. It's a great video, guys. I'm trying to put out the best information I can for you. Logic, yes, I remember Logic. Thoughts on Cali Muscle and his watermelon diets? Listen, Cali Muscle's got fantastic genetics. Regardless of how bizarre looking he might be, the guy has really good genetics. When you have really good genetics, you can do a lot of things differently. Also, guys, you have to remember, when you've been bodybuilding your entire life, and then you make some sort of change, regardless of the results that you get, it is dramatically different than if you just started that out. So you got Cali Muscle, bodybuilder, juiced his brains out, did all these things, was absolutely huge, and then decided to clean it all up, right? Get the gear out, clean it all up. Lean, mean, looks great. Would these things have worked for him the same way had he not done all of that stuff before? Most likely no. Now, that being said, he's got great genetics, so things will work differently. But once you've got that foundation, more changes to the protocol can yield much different results. House of Pain jump. Nice white wrap. Yes, that was a good one. Nathan says, where am I from? I'm originally from Connecticut. Western Connecticut, right by the college. Danbury. New Fairfield. Spent most of my time growing up at keg parties and taking the train into New York City. But I live in Boca Raton, Florida now. Plans for Christmas. Christmas Eve is going to be, typical Italian Feast of the Seven Fishes type stuff. I think we'll be at Marissa's sister's house, I'm assuming. Christmas Day, I hope, is low-key, but I'm not sure. We got a bunch of family down here. Which movies do I plan to watch? I don't know. I take them as they come. There's nothing that's really on my radar right now. The last movie that was really on my radar was Wolverine and Deadpool. I was waiting for that one to come out. I went to the early screening. But now I've been just watching things as they come. Oh, wow. Roland Caesarlock or Ian Harrison. I was a big Roland Caesarlock fan. A lot of people don't know how good Roland Caesarlock was. Loved Roland Caesarlock. Who is the worst fake natty in industry today that 100% is using? I don't know, because I don't really pay attention to these guys. It seems that it's changed a lot. And tell me if you guys have noticed this. It used to be everyone was natty, right? Remember, everybody was natty, all these liars. But now everyone is 19 years old talking about all their gear. And I feel like they can't possibly be telling the truth, or they're lying about the doses, and they're saying they're taking more than they're really using. All these young kids saying that they're on trend, and everyone is on Primo and Masteron. It's all fake, I promise you. There's no way these young guys have access to real Primo and Masteron. Very difficult to get. And I'm sure there'll be some bodybuilders that will say, no, it's not. They don't know. You have these little bootleg testing kits that'll say that it's real. Unless you have a mass spectrometer, you're not able to tell if the stuff is real. And I promise you, 99% of that underground shit that people are passing around is trash. Trash. You think Marcus Rule used synthol in delts and biceps? He sweared on Dennis James' podcast that he never used synthol. Probably. If not synthol, he was using some sort of oil. Maybe he was using Essie-Clean. I'll tell you right now, guys, I think that way more of these guys use that stuff than you think. In fact, now it seems the guys are even more open about that. the majority of those guys were using some sort of site enhancement order. Now, I'll tell you who I would believe wasn't. Ronnie Coleman, you know, guys like that. Why spend some time in trainer club when you were young? Why are you asking me why you spend some time in Tran New York club? Where's constipation? What are you asking with that question, Bolshoi? Why you spend time in Tran? Why you spend some time in Train New York club? Tell me what you're asking me on that one. I'm misreading the way it's read. What up, L Cubes? What's going on? Good to see you on here. Where you checking in from? Anthony, who do you think is the worst fake natty in the industry? Worst constipation story when you thought you'll give birth to an alien? You know, fortunately, I've been blessed with good digestion all these years. A lot of bodybuilders have issues with this stuff. Oh, trend. Interesting. Well, don't use it then. I was going into New York City because the bars stayed open in New York City, and as a young guy, high school, you could take the train into the city. It's a 1-hour shot on the train, and you could get alcohol over the place. You could walk into pubs, have a good time, eat pizza cheap and delicious. I mean, it was a really fun way to grow up back then versus Connecticut, which was more country boring, where I was from, you know, keg parties in the woods type shit. But as a kid, take the train into the city, you know, hop on the subway, go to a Yankees game, you know, go to a Mets game. There's all these fun things that you could do. I'll think before one of my shows, you know, close to showtime, would be when I would get constipated. But once that Fiberlize came on the scene, man, people were coming in my room. Everybody knew that I was with, that I was Dave's main guy back then. So, listen, at Nationals, North Americans, these top shows, man, guys trying to get their pro card, knocking on my door. Hey, man, you got any of that Fiberlize? Dave said you would have some. Yeah, here, let me give you a scoop. Handing out scoops of Fiberlize like that. Let's see. Train back or train chest till the rest of your life? Need to pick only one thing? Man, that's tough. I think I'm going chest though. I love training chest. Love training back, but if I can only pick one, I think I'm training chest. Love to train chest. Oh, the club with transvestites. That, you know, really the one strange club that I experienced was actually down in South Beach. Mike O'Hearn. Listen, Mike O'Hearn, I'll tell you guys a couple of things. Number one, he is genetically gifted. So, whether he's natty or not, 99% of the community could take all the gear in the world and never be like him. I'm gonna start out by giving you a lot of very pro Mike O'Hearn stuff. At a very young age, he was already freakishly strong. Now, all these years later, still freakishly strong, seems to have been relatively injury-free. He was an incredible weightlifter, power lifter. Now, that being said, his physique does not look like a drug-abused physique. Now, I also want to state that although he's freaking jacked, he's nowhere near as big as your typical jacked up pro bodybuilder. He's not. He's extremely aesthetic, which makes him look more jacked when his clothes are off. But he's tall, and he's lean and athletic looking. So there's a number of reasons why he potentially could actually be natural and genetically gifted. Now, that being said, the ability to be that strong for so long without injuries, one would think there's got to be something coming into play, whether it's growth hormone. I've talked to people that say they're close to him, that say that he's been on growth hormone for years, which is a great idea for the anti-aging and longevity. His physique still looks young. I don't see why you would be with a TRT clinic and not be on TRT. So my guess is that no, he's not natural. He's probably on testosterone and growth hormone. And you know what? He's incredible. You know, I think gun to my head, he's on testosterone and growth hormone. But like I said, man, the guy is genetically superior. He's got superior genes. He's a freak. You know, when you look at Keon Pearson, when I trained him down, you know, for that first show, he was natural. And everybody was like, damn, man, he's so good. He's so good. But why is he not as hard as the other guys? And I said straight up two things. One, he's a kid. He's young. It takes time to get that hardness. Two, you could never get that hard without adding in androgenic steroids. Specifically androgenic steroids. Androgenic, male aging hormones, which, of course, speeds up that hardness process. Once I got a little bit of that going, which was a minuscule amount, you see how freaky he looked at the New York Pro and then at the Olympia. Did you try any exercises for bile moving? Like these little fancy bullshit vibration pads? No exercises for moving. Have you seen that thing? It's like this pad. It's like this little plate. Looks like a scale almost that you stand on and you squat down and it vibrates all over the place and it makes you poop. They're advertising it really more for the ladies, I've seen. Women typically have far more issues with digestion, unfortunately, and going to the bathroom regularly than men. 49 minutes. Good session today. I'm probably going to get up out of here pretty soon. I hope you guys enjoy the back workout that I posted. We're going to film a chest workout today. I think it's going to be great. I will get it posted on Monday. I'm planning on putting a new video out every Monday, guys. Have I thought about my last days on the earth before death? When you'll be old as hell, lying on your bed alone, just waiting for the last hour. I try not to think about that stuff that much, but the main thing that I really think about is that Marissa and I are together till the end, which, considering I'm 11 years older than her, that's a pretty safe bet, and she's also very healthy and comes from a very good lineage of health in her family, with her grandma lived into her 90s, and I'd like to make sure that, you know, in that sad moment where I take my last breath, as long as I'm holding her hand and she's there with me, you know, that's how I'd like to go out. But I try not to think about that stuff because, you know, now that I'm back, you know, that time away, you get a lot of time to think about stuff when you're sitting in prison. And I feel like I've got this new start now. I'm like a fresh young man, even though my body is kind of beat up and old. And I have all these exciting things that I'd like to do. So I'm focused on all this living right now. But, all right, on that note, I'm going to roll up out of here. Thank you guys for doing this with me today. Like I said, shooting a chest video today. Anything else you want to see, let me know. DM me, put it in the comments. I appreciate you guys. Oof. That's it, man. Hop on down to Florida and we'll make it happen. Hopefully it's running again by then. We'll see. All right, guys. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. I appreciate you all. Peace out. Bye.